These are tags that somebody sent to my YouTube blog. YouTube is taking a very long time to publish the video that I'm trying to publish there. I mean, it's just this continuous disaster, just a continuing disaster of censorship, repression, all of that stuff. And then so these are the tags, and then these are like examples of tags. So this is just kind of this generic thing that YouTube has. It's very unpleasant. It's very, very unpleasant. Those are the examples of tags that they're giving people, and then these are actual tags somebody has added. So this, I guess somebody sent me these. All right, so why don't I talk about this? I don't want to encourage people to add things like, do things like this. Add tags to my blogs, hack my blogs, hack my computer, that kind of thing. I want to, maybe I can address this question, like whatever it is they're trying to say. I know what you mean. I certainly, there have been times in my life when I got upset about someone for whatever reason. Whether or not it was someone that I would have actually liked to be with. I just was going through so much myself that I never really could just be the person I wanted to be ever. So some people that I got attached to that way really were, people that I maybe could have been happy with, at least for a while. And some of them were just kind of people that I just got attached to that way because I had gotten screwed up and I got attached to people that way. Sometimes. So, I guess I'm going to try to address this and talk about how you can't stop thinking about someone if you decide that's what you should do. And really, I think it's a good thing to do. I think you want to stop. You want to be able to do that. So it's the kind of thing where it's something you can learn how to do, right? Let's see. I'm just gonna try to think about situations in my past where I got overly attached, and now actually I try to learn how not to. I have been through it enough times that I have learned not to. I have learned not to let my feelings just kind of do whatever they feel like doing. I've learned to kind of just detach when I have to detach from a situation, leave it, not just throw my feelings into it, not just let them grow and go. Because people have a lot of feelings, and what you want to do is direct your feelings to where they can attach to something that will make you happy instead of something that will make you unhappy, right? And so if someone's told you no, what you have to do is, decide. What you have to do is you have to understand you're not going to be with that person. Then you really only have two options. And one option is to just cause yourself and other people who want to be close to you a lot of unhappiness about it for as long as you decide to continue to have that be the option that you choose, or you can decide that you're gonna heal from this and be able to actually be a part of your life and not mentally living somewhere else, right? Mentally living somewhere else, even if it's just even if where you're living is just pain all the time, right? So you can try various things. One person was telling me there's one school of thought which is that you can tell yourself stop, or imagine a stop sign, that kind of thing. I didn't really so much find that worked for me so much. You can try it as a technique. You can try it and see what happens. I suppose if you just do it over and over and over and over again, I suppose you can learn to do it that way. I kind of eventually learned to do that only from having been through it enough, having been through not being able to do it enough times to know how painful, know how much pain I was going to feel if I didn't stop thinking about it. It's almost like that thing where you put your hand on a hot stove, and it's only putting your hand on the hot stove and feeling all the pain and dealing with the injury and knowing the injury lasts for a while, that finally you just shy away from the hot stove. You just don't do it. You're like, okay, I see the stove, I'm not going to go near the stove. That it was actually not even a technique that I ever learned how to do. It was something I only learned how to do after I had to go through the process of not doing it so many times. So there, you can think about it that way. And I think maybe a way to apply that technique is not to be yelling at yourself about it. Just be okay, stop. And then and then the next second you'll have a thought, you're just like, okay, stop. You can try it. I mean, I know there are people who do it that way. And then the other things that I've tried that seemed to work for me, especially in situations where I was so overwhelmed by a feeling, even if it was a question of like anger or like from disappointment, that kind of thing, was to be like, to know when I was dealing with something where the feelings were just a lot stronger than I was. And I just kind of was like, all right, but having known from experience that feelings in fact will leave. Feelings will dissipate. You won't notice them getting less. They won't get less intense for a while, and then they will. That's the thing. It could be weeks, it could be months. You could be sitting there like, oh my God, I can't believe I feel exactly the same way that I felt like a week or 2 weeks ago. And then they will gradually start to lessen, and you'll be able to, and you'll feel them lessening. You'll be like, all right, and then maybe you have to grieve it a little bit, but then you do, and they just kind of do really actually leave on their own. They do. But while you're experiencing whatever that is, you have to also be aware that that's what you're experiencing, and almost like. It's almost like, you can think of it like an injury, that you just kind of leave it where it is. Or almost like the way that you would treat another person who was experiencing that you had to have with you all the time, right? You just kind of almost like a caretaker of another person. Just be like, all right, I'm not even going to try to do anything with that feeling. I'm not going to try to talk to it. I'm not going to try to reason with it. I know it's not going to go away by itself, and it's so volatile that I'm just going to leave it where it is. I'm just going to leave it. And I can remember one situation in particular where I knew that was the only way that I could deal with that. I knew that there was nothing I could do about the way I felt, because I was so upset. I was so upset about the way the person had treated me. And I don't think that really applies in this situation, because there's certainly nothing I've ever done to anyone that is like what the conglomerate has done to me. But if you're just talking about like intensity of a feeling and just amount of a feeling, that kind of thing, and it's like stronger than you are, more powerful than you are. I mean, you kind of have to recognize that and be like, all right, it's almost like you just have to carry around like just something that is like totally explosive, and you just have to kind of leave it where it is, because leave it where it is with you, and just keep it with you all the time, and not do anything to it except bring it around with you and know that it's there, and be thoughtful about the fact that it's there, and not even try to walk into it, not try to talk to it, just leave it there until it starts to dissipate. And while you're doing that, you try to do other things that are healthy, right? If you can find a counselor who is both a good person and knows what they're doing, that's good, because that person can probably help you. And maybe you need an individual counselor, because if you're in a relationship, it might be too painful for you. I mean, you can have an individual counselor, and you can have a couples counselor too. So if you're trying to talk to the couples counselor about the way you feel about me, while your partner is sitting there, it might be too painful for like you and your partner, for you know what I mean? Like if it were, and that's really actually very sad. Like if I were somebody's girlfriend or somebody's wife, and I knew that my boyfriend, or my husband, like whichever situation it was, like felt like this about another woman, I don't know if I would be able. I mean, it would just be incredibly heartbreaking for me. I'd be heartbroken. I'd be angry. I would feel like I would try to do everything I could think of